Good morning. Welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Joining us in the studio is Gary Rakusin from Waterford Wedgwood. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Well, you brought a whole bunch of stuff for us to look at.
I did.
And let's give our viewers kind of an overview of what the store is all about down there in Settlers Green.
Well, we're carrying basically anything that you could need for your tabletop, whether it be a nice wine glass, dinner plate, silverware, a vase or a bowl to complement the tabletop. We think we have that pretty well covered and in a very nice way.
Absolutely. And now this is just an inkling of the stuff that you have there.
It certainly is, and with the season, I brought things that more pertain towards Christmas. I know it hasn't felt much like Christmas out there, but hopefully this can get people in the frame of mind to think, yeah, Christmas is coming, whether it feels like it or not, and
Right.
I brought some things that pertain to that.
Well, we're going to take a look at that. Hans is going to zoom in on some of the things here. So let's talk about, I want to talk about this glassware, because you were just explaining about that a moment ago.
Right. This is a series that we're in the 7th year now. This is a Waterford product. And every year, they put out the old-fashioned and the champagne flute. They change the cut in the glass every year to something that's been used over the years. They design a snowflake that complements the cut, and then they change the color. So every year you've got a different color, and if you collect them, by the time you're done, you'll have 10 different cuts, 10 different snowflakes, and 10 beautiful colors. Looks extremely pretty on the bar or the mantle or wherever you might choose to display those. So this is year 7. There is a Christmas ornament that goes with the series, which I brought as well, and they depict basically the snowflake.
Actually, I'm going to zoom it right here because I think that's the right spot.
Oh, right. That's the snowflake that is cut into the piece, and the color of the stone in the center reflects the color of that year's product.
That's great.
Okay, there you go. So that's very pretty. One thing that I do want to mention, and this pertains to the Waterford crystal, I brought this ambassador bowl with me. And what we do every year, right around this time of year, in order to help people with the gift giving at Christmas, is we have the ambassador come from Waterford City. And he signs the pieces for people to make it very special, and he'll put the year on it. So if you give it as a gift, you're giving something extremely unique.
Yeah.
And yes, and when he comes, they issue a special bowl that's not issued any other time during the year. Every year it's different, of course. They only make 1,250 of them, and that's what I've brought here. This is the With Love from Ireland bowl.
And he is coming on November 28th.
He will be in the store on the 28th. Now, what a lot of people think is that they have to be there on that day. Not at all. You could come into the store anytime this month, pick out the piece that you want, either for yourself or as a gift. You leave it with us. We make sure that he signs it and does it in the way you want. After that, we can either keep it until pickup, or we can ship it anywhere in the U.S.
Well, that's terrific.
It is good, and there's a nice discount that goes along with that, of course, and there's no charge for the signing at all.
Yeah. So that's coming up, or he'll be here on November 28th.
He will be
but,
here.
But like you say, come in anytime this month, so you can choose that.
Sure.
That gives you a little bit more of a relaxing time to be able to between now and the 28th.
It does, and you know, if you are doing Christmas shopping, you can say, well, yeah, I've got several gifts already arranged. They're just waiting there, and I'll pick them up sometime in December, wrap them up, and be set for the holidays.
Well, that's great. I want to point out, before we get to a few other things, is, and Hans can zoom in on this unbelievable snow globe.
Okay, that
and
is pretty.
What's actually really cool about it is its snow ability. It just seems to just keep going.
It really does, and it looks very realistic. This is a Wedgwood piece. I wanted to bring something to represent the Wedgwood lines that we carry. Primarily, Wedgwood is supplying us with the dinnerware, so if you wanted a nice fine set of bone china, that's what Wedgwood does. But when it comes to the holidays, they do some special pieces, and that's one that they did this year. It's been extremely popular, and I thought it would be a representation of the fine work that Wedgwood is doing these days.
I think it's very cool because the fact that the church and the trees are already in white, and then with the snow on top of it, it's kind of different than kind of how you would picture a snow globe. So it's very cool.
It is unique and it is beautiful, and there are so many little details in there.
Yeah.
You could spend a long time just looking into that globe and finding different things. There's a stag and a doe over here.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, I believe there's we couldn't figure out was a rabbit or a squirrel. But there's some wildlife running around in there and all kinds of things going on.
That's
And
great.
it just looks so pretty.
That's great. And continuing with that theme, I'm going to slide this one. Hans, I'll just slide this right into the same spot. And it's Santa Claus coming for a visit.
There's Santa Claus. I wanted to bring something from our Royal Doulton family of brands, and this is something that Royal Doulton does very well. They've been doing since the 1930s, is they make these beautiful handcrafted, hand-painted figurines.
Yep.
They're made today the same way they were made back in the 1930s, and that is entirely by hand. So some artist will sculpt the basic piece, and then molds are made. The molds are hand casted. Every piece on here that appears to be separate actually is made separate, and then everything is put together for the final presentation and then hand decorated. And besides the line of traditional pretty ladies, that most people are familiar with. Every year at Christmas time, they put out several unique figurines just to represent Christmas. And the Father Christmas that they do every year, and it's different every year, is one of my own particular favorites, and I collect them, and they look very, very beautiful when you use them as decorations at Christmas time.
That's great. That's great. And we're gonna finish up with nothing better than when you invite some guests over. You invite them into the den, and then you can have a nice drink with them. And wouldn't that be nothing more impressive, I think, than going, let me get something out of the decanter here. And we were disappointed that Gary didn't fill this before he came, but that's okay. We're gonna let it go this time. So tell us about that.
Well, this is a new product for Waterford, and it's the Lismore Black. It's a very, very stunning line. There are other pieces that go with it. There are champagne glasses, brandy glasses, highballs, and so forth. I brought the basic decanter and rocks glass. That seems to be what people get the most use out of. But certainly, if you have a single malt scotch or a special cognac that you enjoy and you serve to your friends, what more elegant way to present it than in something that looks so beautiful as that?
Absolutely. And the thing is, and I don't know if I guess you are kind of picking it up, is that it is so black. I mean, it is.
It's completely black, and don't ask me how they make it so that you can't even see through it, because even in the colored crystal,
right, you can see through it.
You can still see through, but the black is just it's very black. It's very stunning.
Very cool stuff. And I know I was looking on the website, so there's a lot of other things besides somebody might get, well, I don't need any crystal, but you have so much more there for house and home.
Basically, as I said before, anything that you need for the tabletop, we do have it. We have for the crystal, we have, of course, wine glasses, water glasses, champagne glasses, anything you can imagine. We have the dinnerware. And we have everything from an everyday set that you might use just around the house, all the way to very fancy and very beautiful bone china. And of course, anything that you would need for decorating your home, such as a vase, a bowl, lamps. We have plenty of beautiful crystal lamps that look absolutely gorgeous in the home. I have a couple of them myself, and
that's great.
They are really showpieces. People comment on them all the time. What a beautiful lamp you have there. And we pretty much have whatever you need for your home.
That's terrific. Now, you're located in Settlers Green, so what are you next to? What other stores?
We are right next to the office in Settlers Green and right across from Brandley's Restaurant.
Okay.
So very easy to find.
So you can't miss it unless you pass it. But yeah, so you're in a great spot back there. So because you used to be out front,
We did.
So
We
just want to let
moved.
people know. So if you go there going, it's not here anymore.
Thank
it
you.
has
That's a
moved
good
to
point.
it has moved to a new location.
We did, and we didn't go very far, but we went completely around the corner from where we used to be back in February.
Yeah.
And it's a nice location, and the store over there I think is very open. It's very welcoming, very inviting. I do hope folks will come in, and we have a very helpful, friendly staff that are experts in home decor and fine dining and drinking, and we'd be glad to help anybody with their either gift shopping or their personal needs.
Well, there you go. Well, Gary, thanks so much for coming down today.
Thank
and,
you.
So definitely check out Royal Doulton or Waterford Wedgwood Royal Doulton right over there in Settlers Green. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.